New Zealand's North Island sits Great Lake Taupo. At 616 square kilometres, it dominates the landscape. Its crystal clear waters roar through the Hooker Falls, fueling the mighty Waikato River. The landscape is spectacular. But it is the people of Taupo whose welcome makes this event doubly special for the competitors from over 50 countries who compete in the Kellogg's Nutrigrain Ironman New Zealand.
There's nothing like this crowd in Taupo.
Everyone's out there on the course is just amazing. They just lift your spirits up.
You come back into town and all of a sudden you're bouncing. You just get that adrenaline pumping through.
There's a gentleman, every year he stands there and says, "We welcome you into our country and we're going to adopt you, Kessler."
So many people, faces I recognise, saying "Go Gina," and it's just really fantastic.
The Kiwis, they just welcome you so much into this community here in Taupo. That's why we keep coming back.
Over 1,100 competitors will start their Ironman journey in the chill of a pre-dawn Saturday. Some are first-timers, for others it's an annual pilgrimage, a chance to greet old friends. For the elite, this is their chosen path in life. Ahead lies elation, victory, and the pain of defeat. But for all those who finish the 3.8 kilometre swim, 180 kilometre bike, and 42.2 kilometre run, they are an Ironman for life. This is the 2015 Kellogg's Nutrigrain Ironman New Zealand. It's 5:30 a.m. and already the transition is busy as over 1,100 athletes ranging in age from 18 to 82 years gather to make final checks. Among them, Cameron Brown, an Ironman legend with 10 New Zealand titles to his name. Brown became the oldest winner of an Ironman when he crossed the line at Cairns, Australia in 2014.
Pretty awesome to win 10, but I think to try and win 11 as a 42-year-old would be pretty special.
Terenzo Bizzoni has conquered the 70.3 event 23 times, the most recent in Dubai just 7 days ago. But he is yet to break through to victory in Ironman.
I'm going into this weekend a little bit more confidence, a little bit more maturity. I just turned 30 last week, so I've always given Cameron Brown a little bit of grief about being old, but I feel now I'm a little bit older, I'm 30, I think probably 30 is the magic number.
From Christchurch, New Zealand, Dylan McNeese has a background in ITU triathlon. He debuted the full Ironman distance just last year in Malaysia, his last event just 2 weeks ago. Andrew Yoder is starting his first Ironman. He has travelled from the American winter to experience the Taupo race.
The course and the history of this race has been, I think it's top-notch, and there's no other race like it. So I wanted to start my Ironman career here in Taupo.
In 2014, Meredith Kessler swam the 6th fastest time of all athletes and went on to set a new course record of 9 hours, 8 minutes and 6 seconds. But her preparation has been hampered by a cold, picked up on the flight from Dubai where she competed last week.
This is what we all deal with as athletes. It's just not me. I promise you that everyone has adversity leading up to the race, whether you're a 50-year-old amateur or a 30-year-old pro. So now I'm on the upswing of it, and I'm actually feeling invigorated.
With 3 wins in 3 years, Kessler is the darling of New Zealand fans.
There's nothing like this crowd in Taupo. The Kiwis really, they just welcome you so much into this community here in Taupo. That's why we keep coming back.
Gina Crawford was the runner-up to Kessler here in the past 2 years. The 2009 winner is a strong all-round athlete, but she will have her work cut out to keep Kessler in sight in the morning.
She's an athlete that doesn't have a weakness. She's strong in all three disciplines, and definitely in March and in Taupo the course suits her really, really well. And yeah, in March she's just in top form always, so I know to beat her I'm going to have the race of my life, really.
At the beach for the race start, the atmosphere is electric as a party of Māori warriors from the Wairoa of the Wairaki terraces arrive to lay down a challenge to all of the competitors. This great lake taupo was formed 26,500 years ago with a supervolcanic eruption. The lake is taonga, a treasured thing of Ngāti Tuwharetoa. The elite men will start at 6:45 a.m, with the women following a minute later. The crystal clear waters of Lake Taupo are ideal for a fast swim.
I love this swim. It's just lake water. Love lake versus sea. It's cooler, wetsuit. So it's just one loop. I mean, it has all these positives in my book.
So I kind of just cruise the swim. You know, from the race starts from the bike. So I like to lead the swim, but I don't fight for it. So if I can lead, it's a bonus. And you know, Ironman, it's a sum of all the parts. So if I can, you know, save as much energy during the swim as I can, then I feel better for the bike and the run.
It's going to be what it is. The wind, the rain's going to make it a little bit tougher for everyone else. I'll be definitely focusing on trying to get into that group, cement myself in that front group.
Ahead lies hours of pain, endurance, sweat and tears. But the difference between winning and losing may well be in the mind.
I think this distance has to have as much mental fortitude and gumption as one can give it. I think it's still, to this day, I've always said this, you know, this will be my 54th Ironman, and I said it at Ironman #1. I think it's 70% mental. Of course, you need the 30% physical, obviously, but it's a big chunk is mental.
So have a look at those flashing lights. 3 minutes to go. So all of the athletes out there, they'll know, the pro men, they'll know that they'll be within the starters' hands pretty soon.
6:45 and the men are away. The field of 23 quickly finding their pace, led by Dylan McNeice. It's a small field of elite women, but Meredith Kessler is expected to lead. In fact, she will catch and pass half the elite men before the end of the race. Out front, a group of 3 have broken away. Dylan McNeice and Graham O'Grady from New Zealand, and Australian rowing double Olympian Todd Skipworth, who seems as happy in the water as he was on it. Back on shore, the nervous age group participants watch and wait their turn. There are many stories here, many reasons to start. For some, like Mike Ramsey, Ironman has become a way of life. The former Navy diver was there in year 1, and he's kept an unbeaten record with 30 finishes.
It's wonderful to go down there and everybody's screaming and you're giving the high fives, and it's just, you know, I guess for a lot of people it's exhilaration. For me, it's Ironman New Zealand is the important thing, keep the record going.
For many, this will be their first. Rochelle Gilmoni is on a journey which started with tragedy and grew to triumph.
With the passing away of my husband in 2000, I was in quite a bit of shock. He died suddenly and unexpectedly of a brain hemorrhage. So I started to run. So then I sort of got a bit inspired to enter a really small duathlon with a friend, and I realised I had a bit of a competitive streak. I guess for me, what's the ultimate is the Ironman. It's the coolest, longest day out. So yeah, that's what's got me here.
Whatever their story, all the competitors have a common link. The course will show mercy to no one. All will endure pain. But to complete the 3.8 kilometre swim, cycle 180 kilometres and run a 42.2 marathon by midnight, and you join the special Ironman family. The mass start is as much a challenge as the swim itself. Over 1,100 athletes trying to find their space. Many joke that this is Ironman's contact sport, as feet, arms and face clash. But eventually order comes to the pristine waters of Lake Taupo. Out front, the three men have turned for home. Meredith Kessler is leading the women's race, but a course correction costs her time.
Those buoys were really dainty, and I missed one. I went too far inward, so I just swam back, went around it, and carried on.
The field of 1,100 age group athletes has opened up. Out front, Kiwis Hayden Corkin and Jared Bowden lead the men, while Sally Hayes from Invercargill leads the women's age groupers and will finish as 5th fastest age grouper overall. But somewhere in the crowd, Johnny Freeland is swimming on a journey that has changed his life.
Watching my wife alongside 1,600 other people do Ironman and supporting her in the build-up really inspired me and thought, well, I reckon I could give this a go. And then things really unfolded where once I got awarded the Tony Jackson Memorial Scholarship, and then I had to really do it and pull finger and get the journey underway. And so I've accomplished things that this time last year I never thought I'd do. And so I'm feeling really excited to really enjoy the day.
The lead men have been in the water for 40 minutes as they near the final buoy before turning to the beach. McNeese, O'Grady and Skipworth are matching each other stroke for stroke. As they turn for the beach, there is growing expectation in the crowd that the swim record of 44 minutes 47 could be under threat. McNeese is out of the water first. He will cross the mat and set a new record of 44 minutes 25 seconds, with O'Grady and Skipworth on his heels. It breaks the decade-long record set by surf lifesaving world champion Brent Foster. It's a 400-metre run now to reach the first transition, and the crowd have lined the green carpet to cheer on the Kiwis. Terenzo Bizzoni is one of the favourites. He and James Cotter arrive at the beach 2.5 minutes behind the leaders.
Got out the water, saw the clock, 47 minutes, and I'm like, yeah, not a bad time, not a bad time. I know I've been a bit quicker in the past, but it wasn't until someone said, yeah, you're 2.5 minutes to the leaders. I'm like, oh, geez, they must have swum quick. I was doing the math in my head, it's 47 minus 2.5, they were on under 45 minutes, and I figured that must be pretty close to the course record.
Andrew Yoder has swum a strong race in his first Ironman, 6th out of the water for the American, but it wouldn't be without troubles. Turning for home now is a group of 6 men, among them #1 and 10 times winner Cameron Brown. And just 30 seconds back, the white cap of Meredith Kessler. Remember, she started a minute behind the men. Simon Cochrane leads Brown out at 50 minutes. Alex Reithmeyer, Nick Baldwin, James Bowstead and Ricky Swindale on their heels. And 30 seconds back, Meredith Kessler emerges from the water. Her race time is 49 minutes 35 seconds, 3 minutes down on her 2014 time. Will this impact on her race? In transition, drama is unfolding. Its 24-year-old American Andrew Yoder is struggling. He was out of the water ahead of Cochrane and Brown, but he's cramping and suffering spasms in his back. His Ironman is over almost before it has begun. Coming up, the competitors hit the roads of Taupo. It's the 180-kilometre cycle. This is Kellogg's Nutrigrain Ironman New Zealand. The competitors are starting the 180-kilometre bike lead. The Australian Skipworth is first on the bike, O'Grady just 10 seconds behind, and McNeice 20 seconds further, not rushing his preparation for the ride ahead.
I think with the conditions for me, I'm just going to try and use them to my advantage. So with the tailwind, try ride a little bit quicker. With the headwind, try race a little bit smarter.
Definitely have to be careful around the corners out on this course. There's not too many of them, but it's mainly through town. But otherwise, the course is pretty straightforward all the way up to Reparoa. You've always got to be looking forward and looking down to, to see what's ahead of you.
Kessler is hard on the heels of the lead men. But Gina Crawford is under 2 minutes behind. The pressure is on Kessler as she leads with no knowledge of her competition at this point, and that's fine for Crawford. The course for the cycle runs along the lake foreshore before heading inland to the small settlement of Reparoa, around 45 kilometres away for the first of 2 laps. A good rider needs to be able to push hard, but having the right equipment can make a huge difference. O'Grady and Skipworth have been taking turns at the head of the field. Early morning mist and rain has descended on the course, but the wind has not arrived as they head to Reparoa. McNeice trails the leaders by 55 seconds. His time spent racing ITU has taught him to be relaxed, comfortable on the bike. But behind McNeice, Terenzo Bozzoni is broken free of Cotter. He's 1 minute behind McNeice and closing in fast, but he needs to make his move now, as behind him, 10 times champion Cameron Brown is also on the move and he's taking no prisoners. Graham O'Grady is first to the turnaround at Reparoa, but Skipworth is right on his tail. The mist has lifted, the wind is yet to arrive, meaning the conditions are ideal. Bozzoni is pushed harder over the last 10 kilometres and turns just 46 seconds later with McNeice, holding on in fourth. Cameron Brown is on his own in fifth, but he is close to within 2 minutes of McNeice. His pace is 2 kilometres an hour faster than the leader. In the women's race, Melanie Burke had emerged from the lake 13 minutes behind Meredith Kessler in sixth. But the former New Zealand rower was making up time on the bike. First in her sights, Erin Furness. Furness turned pro in 2013 and her strength is in running, having won the Rotorua Marathon that year. But Burke's weakness in the swim is made up in the bike and run. She had 2 podiums in 2014 but is yet to make the podium on this event. American Jocelyn McCauley is fourth, but she's in a tough battle with Stephanie Jones for third. Even at this early stage, it's still looking like the battle for the title will be fought between Crawford and Kessler. But Crawford has a problem with her bike, which is weighing down her progress. The rear brake is rubbing on the wheel rim. It's a handicap she cannot afford against an athlete like Meredith Kessler. Out front, Kessler is on her own, but riding the perfect race. It's her ability across all 3 disciplines which has seen her win here 3 times in a row. The American is 9th overall at this first turn. It will be several minutes before she sees her closest opposition coming into the town. Crawford has worked hard on this first leg, but the brake issue is a real handicap. In 2014, she only trailed Kessler by 6 minutes at the end of the bike leg. Today, it's 5 minutes 44 seconds this first turn at Reparoa. Stephanie Jones is hanging on to third, but she's a massive 16 minutes down on Kessler. Macaulay is another 2 minutes back. But Berg looks comfortable and confident a minute 30 back as she works her way back into the race. Coming up, can Terenzo Bizzoni keep his pace and attack the riders ahead? Out in the front of the race, Terenzo Bizzoni has chased down Skipworth and O'Grady and takes the lead at the 70-kilometre mark. By the 75-kilometre mark, Brown also passes McNeese to move to fourth. It's an ominous sign for the three out front. Skipworth is the next to see the back of Brown. At this point in the race, only Bizzoni is matching Cameron Brown for pace, both averaging 40 kilometres an hour. O'Grady is holding on to Bizzoni, but as they climb what is known as Heartbreak Hill, Bizzoni is watching out for the competitors on their outward journey. In particular, three athletes who have been under his guidance.
One of the big things I'm looking forward to this weekend is watching three age groupers in particular come across the finish line. Rochelle, Jenny and Len, they've jumped on board with Kellogg's Nutrigrain, and Nutrigrain's helping them do their first Ironman. I'm really, really excited and really looking forward to welcoming them across the finish line.
Rochelle Gilmoni is the first of Terenzo's Kellogg's Nutrigrain Unstoppable champions into transition.
He respects that it's an Ironman and it's not about a race, it's about managing the three things that you can control: your pace, your mind and your nutrition. He's just really dedicated and he makes you feel like you're on the same playing field as him.
Terenzo was great. You know, he might be a world champion, but wow, what a humble guy. He is really easy and down to earth.
Oh, having Terenzo has been so awesome. I mean, he's down to earth. He tells you how it is. Made my mind at ease. Best advice he's given to me is just focus on what I'm doing and pace myself.
Terenzo Bizzoni arrives at Taupo for the first lap with a lead of 57 seconds over O'Grady. But O'Grady still looks strong. The battle is far from over. Brown is a further 1 minute 10 seconds behind. He's looking relaxed. McNeese is in fourth position, and in fifth is Skipworth. The early effort has begun to cost him, and the race is not even at the halfway stage. The crowd have been waiting for Kessler, and there is big support for the American as they line the streets. Gina Crawford faces a seemingly impossible struggle now. She trails by 9 minutes. This isn't looking good for the 2009 champion. Back on the road to Reparoa, Terenzo Bizzoni has extended his lead over O'Grady. While O'Grady slips away from Bizzoni, Brown remains the threat in third. 10 victories on this course, he knows better than anyone how to pace himself and when to push. Bizzoni is pushed hard over the final 10 kilometres to Reparoa. He arrives nearly 3 minutes clear of O'Grady. O'Grady is at the turn 3 minutes behind Bizzoni, but his position is under threat. Brown is now only another 40 seconds back. Meanwhile, Kessler is 15 kilometres from Reparoa, but she knows the toughest test is still to come.
The wind picks up that second loop. I think about that on my first lap out, just how we have to kind of just stay calm and in the moment, knowing that wind is coming, second loop.
Kessler turns in 13th position outright, and in the background, the distinctive orange of first-time Ironman Johnny Freeland on his first lap.
I think the biggest challenge is certainly been more of a physical one. In the process, I've lost almost 20 kilograms to get here. This is only my second full season in triathlon, so I'm very much a newbie to the sport. 2 years ago, I've had to learn how to swim. I hadn't been on a bike for 24 years, so there's a whole lot of new beginnings and new learning.
Around 40 minutes behind the lead woman, Narima Milner-Olsen is heading out of town on her second lap. She played professional netball, retiring at the end of 2012 from the Central Pulse. She took up triathlon after her first child was born.
Playing at a professional level sets you up mainly mentally, going into competition that some people may not have been exposed to. Yeah, so I think it's had a huge impact. I've done the training and just trust and believe that I've done enough to get me through the day comfortably, but also to be able to enjoy it.
Brown's plan has worked. He has O'Grady in his sights now, and the result is inevitable. A quick chat, and Brown is off. Bizzoni has missed his water bottle at the last drink station. It could be a crucial mistake. 10 kilometres out of Taupo, and Brown has his afterburners on and is now on Bizzoni's tail.
Cameron, he's a great athlete. He's proved himself year in, year out here in Taupo. 2 seconds, 2/3 at the Ironman World Championships in Hawaii. He's definitely a great athlete and a great ambassador for the sport. I look up to him. I look up to how he races these races, and I try to take a little page out of his book each time, and hopefully I can race my race the same way Cameron will race his race, and walk away with the result that I'm proud of.
Brown has taken 3 minutes out of Bizzoni in the last 30 kilometres and takes the lead going into the town. O'Grady arrived 90 seconds later. This race is far from over. Brown and Bizzoni are already on the Taupo streets. Bizzoni a few crucial steps ahead in what will become a battle of the mind as much as the body. 2009 champion Gina Crawford has not given up, but as she nears the outskirts of Taupo, Meredith Kessler is already in transition.
Number 11, Meredith.
Coming up, a marathon effort, but who will take the winner's prize? At the 1 kilometre mark, and Brown ups the pace. He takes a 10-metre lead. Another kilometre passes under their feet and the lead is out to 30 metres. Brown is asserting his advantage. The king of Taupo is making his move. O'Grady is another minute 30 back, but does he have enough in the tank to hold on? Alex Reithmeyer trails O'Grady by 3 minutes. He took 4th place on the final cycle leg to Taupo. Todd Skipworth is leading a group including Mike Shafferl and Dylan McNeice, the Kiwi triathlete who is known for his strong run. Now it's Meredith Kessler's turn to run the streets of Taupo. When Gina Crawford finally starts the run, she trails Kessler by 16 minutes 30. Her face shows the strain from the ride. 6.5 minutes behind, Melanie Burke is spurred on by the crowd.
The crowd support's pretty fantastic all the way along. It's quite good that it's 3 laps, so you get to see a lot of people throughout the whole day.
Returning to Taupo, Brown has extended to 1 minute 35 over Bizzoni. His pre-race predictions are coming true. This race is looking to be an all-Kiwi affair. While Bizzoni loses sight of Brown, he keeps a solid pace because he knows this is Ironman, anything can happen. It's a drink stop in town for Brown, and encouragement from some of the thousands of Mighty River Power volunteers who make this event possible. Bizzoni is looking ahead as he nears the turn. Seeing Brown allows him to calculate the gap. Alex Reithmeyer is closing in on Graham O'Grady, now just 30 seconds separating third and fourth. Dylan McNeice has lost a further 3 minutes to Reithmeyer and is now 8 minutes back after the first lap. Kessler is using those energy drinks as she returns towards town. Crawford is trying to hold on, but the strain is showing. 16 minutes becomes 17 as she pounds the pavement. Now in third place, Burke is also slowing, losing another minute to Crawford as the gap grows past 8 minutes. Back in town, Narama Milner-Olsen is starting her run. As a pro netballer, she's played in large stadiums to the roar of the crowd. But this is different.
I think it'll be amazing. I think we're just going to absorb and soak up every minute of it. When you look around at all these athletes of all different shapes, sizes, journeys, professionals, you know, that's an amazing thing. You can do this sport and be on the field with pro athletes, which on its own I think is an amazing experience.
Brown has increased his lead on lap 2 and now heads for the finish line. Could this be another record for Ironman's oldest champion? Bizzoni is in the company of Donal Sheehy, currently second in the 35 to 39 age group and inside the top 20 overall. But as Bizzoni heads for home, Sheehy still has a lap and a half to run. Crowd support comes in all forms at Taupo, and this ukulele group add colour as Kessler starts her final lap. She had pushed over the previous 5 kilometres to extend her lead past 18 minutes, but refuses to take victory for granted.
I never take Gina's abilities for granted. I know full well how amazing she is as an athlete, so never did I think we had it in the bag. And I know she can run. Even if she runs a 3-hour marathon, I need a pretty big buffer. So I tried to keep track just to make sure things were clicking over as well as they could.
Since a burst on the first leg out of town in the run, Brown has not been any more than 10 seconds per kilometre faster than Bizzoni. But his consistent pace has seen the lead grow to 5 minutes.
I tried to push early on in the run. You know, you never know how your competitors are feeling, so I just wanted to maybe have a little bit of a gap, and once a gap opens, sometimes, you know, that rubber band breaks and breaks them mentally as well. So I knew if I could, you know, push early, and I was running some pretty quick K pace. So, and he was looking at his K pace as well, and, you know, 3:30s, you know, at the start of an Ironman is pretty quick. So managed to get that, and then just slowly increase it.
Brown treads a path which has led him to victory 10 times before at Taupo, and at an age when many professionals might have already chosen the road to retirement, he heads to the finish in the lead one more time. This will not be Bizzoni's breakthrough win.
Each time you learn new lessons, but I feel it's really time to start racing smarter and to use what I've learned to my advantage. Cameron's proved that 42 years old, he's fitter and faster than ever, and I think now it's time with Ironman that I stop saying, okay, I'm doing this for experience, and say, I've got enough experience, let's lay it down.
Alex Reithmeyer is holding on to third but struggling and is now under threat. McNeice has found a second wind. He is closed from 8 minutes to under 2 minutes behind in fourth. Brown enters the final chute, and the Kiwi crowd are on their feet for the man who will set a new world record as the oldest winner of an Ironman.
it's been a long time between drinks, and 2011, you know, when I last won this race, and yeah, I was just so determined to win today, and yeah, it was a fantastic feeling, and just thank you to the crowd, the Taupo, yeah, all the spectators, my family. It's a good day, and you know, you cherish these moments, and you never know if you're going to get them again, so it's a fantastic feeling.
Second place for the third time at Taupo for Terenzo Bozzoni. King Brown has taken his crown once again. Bozzoni's victory will have to wait another year.
My legs, I wanted to run back down the finish line and give a few more high fives, but my legs were just ruined, and I mean, I was just thankful to make it to the finish line.
A strong run over the final 2 kilometres had rewarded Dylan McNeice with third place, having run past Reithmeyer in the final 600 metres to make it an all-Kiwi podium. So a disappointing 4th place for the Australian, who had held 3rd since the start of the marathon. But in the women's race, there was never any doubt. Meredith Kessler had led out on the water, led out on the road, and at the end of the marathon, her 4th New Zealand victory was close. For Gina Crawford, the effort of the bike ride had taken its toll. While she had a comfortable buffer to 3rd place, at the turn there was still a long way to run. Meredith Kessler running to the line now, but as she approaches the crowd, a sudden awakening to the chance of a new race record. The crowd know that this could be something special. 3 minutes down on her previous record out of the water, recovering from a cold, yet this remarkable athlete was on course not just to break her record, she was going to smash it. Kessler crosses the line and a new record of 9 hours, 5 minutes and 45 seconds.
I don't believe in luck. I think, you know, it's about hard work and such, but sometimes to get a 4-beat, you need a little bit of luck, and I you know, prayed to the puncture gods and the mechanical gods too, and I was just so thankful that, you know, the stars aligned today and the last 4 years, and that's an anomaly in my book for sure.
20 minutes behind, Gina Crawford had to summon her strength. It's been a tough day for the 2009 champion. There's nothing left in the tank as she runs down the final 100 metres to the applause and encouragement of the crowd. "15 minutes and 40 seconds later, Melanie Burke crosses in 3rd, her best result at Ironman New Zealand. But out on the roads, 1,000 competitors are still making their way home. For some like Johnny Freeland, the finish line will have to wait another year. He retired on the final bike lap. Len Thompson would also finish soon after Reparoa. But at the finish line, Narama Milner-Olsen adds another chapter to her sporting life. 26th in her age group, 10 hours 58 minutes 13 seconds. And the Kellogg's Unstoppables. First to finish, Jenny Strecker at just under 15 hours.
Jen, how are you doing?
I'm great.
And how was the whole day for you?
Long day in office, but awesome with it.
And looking forward to seeing your family now?
Definitely, definitely.
Congratulations, good work.
Thank you.
And there to share her moment of personal victory, Terenzo Bozzoni.
It's been cool. I mean, just the three Nutri-Grain Unstoppable champions who had the opportunity to do this race thanks to Kellogg's Nutri-Grain. Just being a small part of their journey and seeing Jenny finish today is great. I'm so happy for her. She's had such a positive attitude about the whole thing, and I knew she would make it. And just seeing her through these tough conditions today get into the finish line is pretty cool. If you can get through Ironman, you can get through anything in life. And I mean, these guys are doing it, and this is the true inspiration out now at night, 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock, 12 o'clock, watching the people who aren't professionals, who aren't talented athletes, who've sacrificed a lot to get on the start line. Watching them cross the finish line is pretty awesome.
And 40 minutes later, in front of her family, in memory of her late husband, Rochelle Gilmoni marks her own special victory.
It's been a very big day for you. How are you feeling?
I'm absolutely great. Let's just do it again.
So you think you'll be back again next year?
Never. It was a bucket list. It was awesome. But man, that's hard. It's a hard day, yeah. But I'm so incredibly proud and grateful.
And finally, for the 31st time, with 16 minutes to spare, Mike Ramsey marks another finish and keeps his amazing record intact. 1,124 starters, 1,050 finishes. For some, it was a day of disappointment. But for many, it was a day of triumph. A day they overcame incredible odds to once again become Ironmen. This is Kellogg's Nutri-Grain Ironman New Zealand.